so one of the things that you've made really clear in your work and the interviews that I've listened to you that with you, and that I love, is that you've built quality of life as a value. You've incorporated that into your life, but that's like a fundamental value in terms of how you operate, which I think is really lacking as a value today. I think people are really focused on this hustle culture, getting ahead, getting ahead, getting ahead. This has been going on for some time. I've always felt like I've never related to this idea where you suffer your whole life so that you can retire and, stop everything and just relax. I'm like, but it's your life. Then you just spent your whole life being stressed out or tired and not building relationships and not being around your friends and family and having any fun. This makes no sense to me. And I've made choices in my life. I don't make very much money, but I do what I love to do. I love my life. I love where I live. And I'm happy. And I look at friends who've made choices that I think they feel like they have to make. They're trying to buy a condo or buy a house, or they're paying off a mortgage. They're trying to get here, they're trying to get up and work, and they're trying to do this and trying to do this, but they don't have a lot of joy in their life and they seem unhappy, but they have a lot more stuff than I do. They have a lot more money than I do. They have a lot more financial security than I do. But they have like 2 nice cars. They have a whole house.
I'll tell you one secret about about 2 cars. My husband and I, there was a time in our lives when we believed we had to have 2 cars. And then one time early in the marriage, money was just so tight. And so we got rid of one of them. And money was tight because we didn't want to have jobs and we didn't want to go chasing after things. So we said, all right, let's let go of one of the cars. And I discovered that 50% of my obligations fell away. And so it wasn't just the expense of the car that we got off our plates. It was the obligation, because when you only have one car, you're like, yeah, I don't have a car. I can't get there. I can't do that. And you just automatically shift your life. If you want your life to be more sane, get rid of one of those vehicles, because if everybody has the ability to walk out the door and get in a car and go someplace. Now, again, urban people, they have all that public transportation. I just feel so bad for
them. No excuses.
But if you're living rural like me and, you need the car to get someplace, I can't tell you how it's just, I think that's one of the best decisions we ever made to keep our lives very calm and pleasant, that you can only do so much if you've only got one vehicle. And then when you do go, you usually have to go together. And so it's an outing, and, you're chit chatting and you're sharing things. I'll drop you here, you go over there, and you have a day of it. But just to get back to your original point about building quality of life into what we do, I think we got there because my research interest was in sustaining farming. And, farmers less than 2% of the population. And we have a joke that you say, if you want a wine cellar, put 10 farmers in the basement, because we talk about how hard our lives are, and that no one's coming up in the generations. And it's like this big tragedy, particularly in the United States, that you have these legacy farms, these people who've done it, but the kids leave and they do something else, and then the farm gets sold, it gets cut up into subdivisions. And this was something that really drove me through a lot of my research. And when I came out the other side, I cared so much about helping agriculture to continue, because I felt this is how we protect the water. This is how we build the soil. This is how we fight the effects of climate change. This is how we keep communities engaged and healthy. I believe so strongly in all of it. I wanted to figure out how to make these farms continue. And so I left grad school and returned to the family farm. And the first thing I started to learn was, oh, this kind of sucks, because we worshiped the work. It was all about, oh, so tired. I worked so many hours. Oh, you have no idea. And it was all about, oh, my back hurts and my knees hurt. And I was like, oh my God, if you die and everyone says at your funeral that you were a hard worker, like that's the badge of honor. And then it just becomes so obvious. Why are youth not returning to farms? Maybe they would like 8 hours of sleep. Is that so hard to consider? And so it seems so obvious now, but when I was visioning how we would carry forward, it was a generational conflict between me and my parents saying, if you want me to take this over, this has to stop. I will not raise my children to think that the only honorable way is to be exhausted. I will not raise my children to think that they can't take a trip overseas. I won't raise my children to think that vacations are for sinners. This is ridiculous. And I won't raise myself. I won't live in a system if I can't have a daily nap. And so I had to, as we transitioned the business, that's probably the most important contribution that I brought. We rest, we play. Because when we rest and we play, then we're not on the brink of suicide. We're not on the brink of an emotional breakdown. We're not on the brink of, fighting all the time. And we're enjoying ourselves. And when you're enjoying yourself, well, then the stress of, well, we could make more money this way, or we could make more money that way, that kind of falls away, because you go, oh no, the wealth is the life. Well, how much money do we need? Like the conversation really shifts. We've learned to see the wealth as the actual play. So rather the play, the touching the soil, the good food, the meals that we have together. And when those are your views, then, if the checking account is a little bit shy at bookkeeping time, that has an entirely different effect on you. Because you sit there and you go, yeah, but I had a great week. And you go, all right, well, I'm going to have to pay this one on Monday. I'll pay this one on Sunday or Monday after we've had the cafe open on Saturday. And you just make a cash flow plan, and you don't stress about it, because you say, I'm living the life I want. And when you come to this, you say, I have everything more than what money can buy. I'm eating well. I'm enjoying my family. I have great friends. And it's beautiful here. The streams are gorgeous. I can go disappear into the woods at any time. All of those things then enable you to approach the financial piece with peace in your heart. And it's more of a game than it is a stress.